What if science didn't stop at what could be measured, but pushed into what was once forbidden? What if governments, universities, and trained scientists quietly experimented with ideas once reserved for mystics, seances, and ancient belief systems? This is not myth. This is not conspiracy folklore. These are documented experiments, funded, recorded, and later abandoned because the cost was too high. Throughout history, the line between science and occult has been surprisingly thin. From alchemists seeking the philosopher's stone to modern researchers dabbling in mind control, some of humanity's brightest minds have ventured into territories they would later deeply regret. Today, we're exploring 5 disturbing experiments where scientists cross into the realm of the supernatural, the forbidden, and the deeply unethical, with consequences that still haunt us today. These aren't myths or urban legends. These are documented experiments, some funded by governments, others conducted in secret laboratories. All of them push the boundaries of science into dark territory. Let's begin. Experiment number 1. The Babylon Working, 1946. The Scientist. Our first story takes us to 1946 Pasadena, California, where rocket scientist Jack Parsons, one of the founders of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory and a pioneer of modern rocketry, conducted one of history's most bizarre cult rituals. By day, Parsons was developing solid rocket fuel that would eventually power America's space program. By night, he was a devoted follower of Aleister Crowley's occult philosophy called Thelema, the experiment. Between January and March 1946, Parsons performed a series of intense magical rituals known as the Babylon Working alongside L. Ron Hubbard, yes, the future founder of Scientology. The goal? To invoke and incarnate the goddess Babylon in human form. The rituals were elaborate and disturbing. Parsons would masturbate on the magical tablets, while Prokofiev's second violin concerto played in the background. Hubbard served as a scribe, taking detailed notes and allegedly exploring the astral plane. In the Mojave Desert, they performed the final ritual, attempting to impregnate an anonymous woman through immaculate conception to birth a magical child who would embody Babylon. The consequences. The rituals reportedly caused paranormal phenomena at Parsons' home, poltergeist activity, ghostly apparitions, disembodied voices, and according to witnesses, screaming banshees at the windows. Even Aleister Crowley himself, Parsons' mentor, was disturbed. He wrote, "I feel fairly frantic when I contemplate the idiocy of these louts." The aftermath was devastating. Hubbard ran off with Parsons' girlfriend Sarah and $10,000 of his money. Parsons lost his security clearance due to his sexual perversions and was pushed out of the company he founded. In 1952, Parsons died in a mysterious explosion in his home laboratory. Some say it was an accident. Others believe he was experimenting with forces beyond his control. Eerily, some conspiracy theorists claim the Babylon Working opened a portal that led to the 1947 Roswell UFO incident just over a year later, suggesting Parsons may have summoned something far worse than he intended. Experiment number 2. Die Glock, the Nazi Bell, 1942 to 1945. The project. Deep in Nazi-occupied Poland, in underground facilities near the Wenceslas mine, SS scientists allegedly worked on one of history's most mysterious weapons projects, Die Glock, or the Bell. This wasn't just another wonder weapon. According to testimonies from SS officer Jacob Sporenberg during his war crimes trial, the Bell was a bell-shaped device about 12 feet high and 9 feet wide, made of heavy metal and filled with mysterious purple liquid codenamed Zerum 525. The experiment. The device allegedly incorporated 2 counter-rotating cylinders that spun at high speeds. When activated, it emitted intense radiation and produced a strange buzzing sound, leading Germans to call it der Bienenstock, the beehive. The stated purpose? Experiments in anti-gravity propulsion, time manipulation, and possibly opening doorways to other dimensions, blending Nazi occult beliefs with cutting-edge physics. Concentration camp prisoners from Gross-Rosen were used as test subjects, exposed to the device's radiation. The consequences. The results were horrific. Scientists and prisoners working near the Bell experienced severe radiation sickness disorientation and hallucinations mysterious death plant, and animal life in the testing area died. According to Sporenberg's testimony, 60 German scientists and engineers were murdered by the SS to keep the project secret, buried in a mass grave. The belt allegedly disappeared at the end of the war. Some theories suggest it was captured by the U.S. during Operation Paperclip. Others claim it was a bell-shaped object that crashed in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, in 1965. While many historians dismiss Darklab as Cold War mythology, the testimonies, the mysterious concrete structure near the test site, dubbed the Henge, and the verified Nazi obsession with occult technology keep this mystery alive. Experiment number 3. The Stanford Prison Experiment, 1971. The Scientist. In August 1971, psychology professor Philip Zimbardo transformed the basement of Stanford University's psychology building into a simulated prison for what will become one of psychology's most infamous experiments. While not traditionally occult, this experiment revealed something demonic within human nature itself. The experiment. 24 psychologically healthy college students were randomly assigned roles as either prisoners or guards. The prisoners were arrested at their homes by actual police, fingerprinted, and subjected to dehumanizing procedures. Guards were given mirrored sunglasses and told to create an atmosphere of powerlessness without physical violence. What Zimbardo expected to be a 2-week study of prison psychology quickly spiraled into a nightmare. The consequences. Within 36 hours, the first prisoner had to be released due to uncontrollable crying, screaming, and rage. The guards, ordinary college students just days before, became sadistic. They stripped prisoners naked, forced them to use buckets as toilets, deprived them of sleep, created elaborate systems of psychological torture. The prisoners broke down mentally. One refused to leave even when told he could, crying that the other prisoners had labeled him bad and he needed to prove them wrong. He had forgotten it was an experiment. Zimbardo himself became so absorbed in his role as prison superintendent that he lost objectivity until his girlfriend visited and was horrified by what she saw. The experiment was terminated after just 6 days. The revelation. Recent investigations have revealed that Zimbardo coached the guards on how to be cruel, rehearsing their brutality. The experiment was designed to prove his predetermined conclusions about human evil. The real horror? This flawed study was used for decades to explain human cruelty, influencing everything from prison reform to understanding the Abu Ghraib torture scandal, all based on a scientific experiment that was actually stage theater. Experiment number 4. Project MKUltra, 1953 to 1973. The program. What if I told you that for 20 years, the CIA conducted illegal mind control experiments on American citizens without their knowledge or consent? Project MKUltra wasn't an occult experiment in the traditional sense, but its goal of achieving total control over the human mind bordered on the supernatural. The experiments. Led by CIA chemist Sidney Gottlieb, MKUltra sought to develop a truth serum and methods to erase memories and reprogram human minds. The CIA bought the world's entire supply of LSD for $240,000 in 1953, equivalent to $4.2 million today. They then distributed it to hospitals, prisons, and institutions, many of which had no idea they were conducting CIA experiments. The methods were nightmarish. Unwitting dosing. Citizens were given LSD and drinks without their knowledge. Operation Midnight Climax. Prostitutes lured men to CIA safe houses where they were drugged and observed through two-way mirrors extreme experiments. A mental patient in Kentucky received LSD for 174 consecutive days prisoner testing. 7 African-American men were given LSD for 77 straight days combined torture. Sensory deprivation, electroshock, hypnosis, and extreme temperatures were used alongside drugs. The victims. Among the unwitting subjects. Prisoners promised reduced sentences, mental patients, drug addicts, ordinary citizens, in bars and restaurants, even CIA employees. Author Ken Kesey, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and poet Allen Ginsberg volunteered as test subjects and later questioned whether they become products of CIA mind control. Gangster Whitey Bulger, dosed with LSD in prison, described hours of paranoia and feeling violent, blood coming out of the walls, guys turning to skeletons in front of me. I felt like I was going insane. The consequences. At least one death is directly attributed to MKUltra. Dr. Frank Olson, a CIA scientist, fell from a 10th-floor hotel window in 1953 after being unknowingly dosed with LSD. In 1973, facing exposure, CIA Director Richard Helms ordered the destruction of all MKUltra files. Only 20,000 documents survived by accident. When Congress finally learned the truth in 1977, CIA Director Stansfield Turner testified that he was horrified by the program. By 1962, the CIA concluded that true mind control was impossible. But the damage was done. Thousands of victims destroyed lives and violated rights in pursuit of what amounted to government-sponsored black magic. Experiment number 5. Newton's alchemical obsession, 1670s to 1720s. The scientist. You know Isaac Newton for his laws of motion and gravity, pillars of modern physics. But what you probably don't know is that Newton spent more time on alchemy than he ever did on physics. The secret experiments. When economist John Maynard Keynes purchased Newton's unpublished papers in 1936, he was shocked to discover over 100,000 words on alchemical experiments, attempts to create the philosopher's stone and transmute base metals into gold. Newton conducted these experiments in secret for decades, exposing himself to toxic mercury vapors in pursuit of occult knowledge. He believed alchemy was the key to understanding God's hidden truths in nature. He also obsessively searched for encrypted messages in the Bible's book of Daniel, convinced that biblical prophecy and natural philosophy were inseparable. Keynes concluded, Newton was not the first of the age of reason. He was the last of the magicians. The consequences. Newton's alchemical obsession likely contributed to his well-documented mental breakdown in 1693. He suffered from severe insomnia, paranoia, violent mood swings, memory loss, possible mercury poisoning. For months, he was unable to work, writing strange accusatory letters to friends. The twist. Modern historians suggest Newton's occult pursuits weren't separate from his science. They may have directly influenced his theory of gravity, his belief in invisible forces acting across space, alchemy's vital spirit. Prepared his mind to conceive of gravity as an invisible force acting at a distance. The line between magic and science was thinner than we think. 5 experiments. 5 cautionary tales. From Jack Parsons opening portals in the California desert, to Nazi scientists dabbling in anti-gravity and time manipulation, to psychology professor revealing the demon in human nature, to the CIA's quest for mind control, to Newton's secret pursuit of the philosopher's stone, all remind us of a disturbing truth. The pursuit of forbidden knowledge comes with a price. Some scientists paid with their lives, others with their sanity. Many more left behind victims. Innocent people caught in experiments they never consented to. These weren't just scientific failures. They were moral catastrophes that continue to echo through history. The real question isn't whether these experiments happened. It's whether we've truly learned from them. Or are there new experiments happening right now in secret laboratories and classified programs, where modern scientists are still trying to unlock forces they don't fully understand? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.